evening. Well, this afternoon, another long television transmission highlighted by the first in-flight glimpse into the lunar landing module. And here's how it went, starting with a view of the hatch between the two spacecraft shortly before lunar landing module pilot Buzz Aldrin opened it.
Well, in Houston, we're really amazed at the quality of the picture up in the tunnel. It's really superb over. It is, considering the amount of light up in there. We're about to open our hatch now. Right. That same guy that when you open up the doorway, he's waiting there for you and he turns the lights on. How about that? It's like the refrigerator.
That light is automatic, like a refrigerator light. When the door opens, it turns on.
A conversation between Charlie Duke and Mike Collins referring to the automatic light that comes on in the LEM when the hatch is opened.
It's the voice of Doug Ward, voice of Mission Control.
Hey, that's a great shot right there. We see you in there. I guess that's Neil and Mike.
It's looking back up from the lunar module up into the command module. A wonderful shot. At this point, they were 203,000 miles from the Earth, 43,000 miles from the Moon, traveling 3,165 miles an hour.
Buzz Aldrin has apparently carried the camera into the LEM with him, showing as Neil Armstrong and Mike Collins back in the CSM.
CSM Command Service
Houston,
Module.
that's really a beautiful shot.
I'll open up the windows and see what the lighting conditions going to be like.
The windows in the LEM, those two triangles through which the lunar module pilot, Buzz Aldrin, on the right, and when he is in the LEM, Neil Armstrong, the flight commander, on the left, look through. It is down.
Houston, that's a real good view. We have the AOT. You're back now, Buzz, and notice you're taking down one of the window shades, over.
It is down
Well,
through
I'm
those.
not sure who's holding the camera at this point. Apparently it's drifting freely inside the cabin.
Such a steady picture for drifting freely, it seems.
More likely attached to some convenient point within the LEM cabin.
Yes, that seems more likely.
Charlie, I'll give you a view out of the overhead window back looking at the command module right-hand rendezvous window.
Roger.
There you see the silvery form of the command module, in which a moment ago you saw Mike Collins and Neil Armstrong up through the docking hatch.
Thanks a lot, Buzz. That's a good view through the overhead.
I think you can see the one of the two portable life support systems backpacks here in the center, and on each side we have the two helmet visors. I'll remove one of them and show you a little closer view of what this looks like. Roger.
This is Buzz Aldrin, of course, who is doing the demonstrating for us.
Visors are the EVA gloves with the blue tip. I'll not take those out now.
EVA gloves, extravehicular activity gloves, gloves that can stand the...
Right, but that's a great shot now that we're getting of the helmet, the EVA visor, and also the EVA gloves in the background.
Gloves can stand that 250-degree heat on the moon, in case they...
Okay, you did say this was going out now, didn't you?
Stand by, I think so.
These visors are to protect against the glare of the sun, which of course is not interrupted in any way by an atmosphere on the moon, so it is powerful.
You got a pretty big audience. It's live in the U.S., it's going live to Japan, Western Europe, and much of South America. Everybody reports very good color. Appreciate the great show.
And it protects against the impact of micrometeoroids, which also unimpeded by atmosphere, strike the moon surface and will strike the astronauts. These little tiny pin specks of meteor material at as much as 1,000 feet per second. High impact velocity, like bullets from a gun. Greater than that, of course, by far, but with great impact. They're not expected to do any harm. The men are well protected against them in their suits and their helmets and these visors you see. The gloves.
Your EVA visor assembly. Appreciate it.
The gloves have to be able to protect them if they pick up the surface material, which will be heated to 250 degrees in the sun, in the moon's daylight.
11, Houston, if that's not the Earth, we're in trouble.
That's the Earth, and we have a very good view of it today. There are a few more cloud bands on than yesterday when we beamed down to you, but it's a beautiful sight.
Beautiful pictures from the lunar module in space as is attached to the nose of the command module on the way to the moon, which they reach tomorrow and go into lunar orbit tomorrow afternoon. The day also produced news of the first in-space cooperation between the United States and Russia. It was disclosed that Frank Borman, the Apollo 8 astronaut who recently visited the Soviet Union, telephoned a top Russian scientist yesterday to ask about the orbit of the moon's circling unmanned orbit poses no threat to Apollo. But the Russians did not say what was the exact purpose of the Lunar mission, and we're still in the dark about that. Walter Cronkite, CBS News, Space Headquarters, New York.